Good evening, everybody, and welcome to, again, a second show of the day from the Toon Review, which, of course, is the match review of Newcastle United 2, Wolverhampton Wanderers 1 at St James's Park earlier on today. Back to winning ways. It was a very, very strange game of football, I think, today, it's fair to say. It was end-to-end stuff at times. At times we were under pressure, and then at other times we had Wolves on the rack. Pretty much for most of the first half after we got that goal. We were simply awesome. However, there was a lot of talking points in that game that, well, looking through certain media outlets, it definitely looks like the majority of people think that Wolves should have had a penalty. But we will come on to that. We'll go through a couple of comments before we get going. And by the way, thank you to everybody for their lovely gestures during the watch along on the super chat saying this is for Lily. I went back in and she was absolutely over the moon. She was so chuffed. Up the A1 says, evening all. That was a must win today and relieved it was. Back to fifth. Hopefully this has kickstarted a winning run. Novik says, I could be wrong, but I think the Wolves was already going down before any contact. Well, that's what Eddie Howe said in his interview as well. I'm not so sure. Answers, lucky one for Pope, but it's about time we had a bit of luck these days. Half the job done, 3 points on Friday. Yeah, look, the rub of the green, I think, went our way for that decision. I really do. The more I see it, the more I think, Rachel says, hi, everyone, and welcome back. Trolls, good evening to you. Andy says, how good was Maxi today? Certainly a birthday performance. Andrew says, happy days. Mr. Spoons, good evening. Yeah, I thought Miggy was excellent when he came on, but thought that Murphy played mint as well, to be fair. They were all great today. Yeah, they all put in a shift, no doubt about it. Wes, good evening to you. Mr. Reaction says, evening all, what a great day, and great to be back to the winning form. Isak is amazing, and so happy for our little Miggy. Colin, good evening to you. Geordie Howie Man says it's a great feeling going into work on a Monday after a win. Good evening, Geordie boy. Andrew says, hey guys, great win today, so happy. I like coffee, good evening to you. Toon Gamer says, not good news on Gordon, has confirmed he won't play till after the international break. Yeah, it's disappointing. Injuries kicking us in the arse again. Shane, good morning in Australia. What a win. Was as ugly as Bruno Fernandes, but much needed. Win our games in hand and we go fourth. Clive says, I bet you Friday night he plays Wilson and Miggy from the start. I'm not so sure he does. And Maxi, you beast. Maxi will be a legend at this club. He's been here from the bottom upwards and still tries his very best. He's world class when he plays like that today. World class, I think, is a little... I mean, you're putting him in the bracket of some great players. I'm not sure he's there yet. Joey says, bonjour, everyone. Spacebar, what is Gordon's injury? Does anyone know? I think it's an ankle injury. They haven't released too much about it, to be honest. Isak got to be starting from here on in. Twinkle Toast to Southern Geordie. Yeah, I would agree with that. I think he's got to start. John Green, good evening to you. Alicia, good evening. Geordie Ricard says, evening, everyone. Just popping in to say hope Paul's daughter is okay and the op went well. Wishing speedy recovery. Thank you very much, George. She is she's battling on, matey. She's a trooper. Julie J, good evening to you as well. Clive says Nick Pope felt a very lucky boy today. I mean, Alex, I've seen it a few times now, and the more I see it, the more I think that was a red card.
So my opinion on this is if we're going to look at just that, yes. But over the course of the whole game, I'm not bothered because I think Lamina handled it inside the box. I 100% clear in the replay. It's not a ball to hand or an accident. His arm's out by the side. It's a handball. So I don't care because either way, both should have had a penalty. So either neither get one or both get one. So I think it's fair. I don't care.
Yeah. I mean, Billy, we did say in that first half, especially there was a couple of really poor tackles went in. I think one from Matinho definitely, and I think it was Pedence the other one, which were really fiery tackles.
Yeah, they're red card tackles, weren't they? They're above the ball, on shins and ankles, studs up both times. Don't think they even got booked for them. The referee's distance from the actual, coming together was what saved Pope. I think if he'd been closer to it, I think he might have been sent off and penalty given. He couldn't see because he was that far away, and luckily for us, the referee's fitness saved us there. However, he did even up second half, like Alex says, with the handball and the blatant pull on Fabian Schär's shirt in the box. With a blatant penalty all day long, and not at the time he's evened up that one now, and they do that.
Look, I mean, as much as I've watched it, if I'm openly honest, I think it was a penalty. I think if that happens outside the box, the referee gives a free kick straight away. I don't understand.
The issue is with his decision is Jamie Redknapp said this on the Sky post match. If you're not going to give the penalty, you give a yellow card for diving. It's got to be one or the other. It's got to be it's got to be a red card for Pope, or surely a yellow card for simulation from Jimenez. There is no middle ground there. It's either black or white, surely.
Yeah, I agree, and I think because we said during the commentary, Billy, that I found it astounding that Jimenez, if he just kept on his feet, then had a tap in. I mean, it wasn't a difficult angle where if you look where the two collided, it wasn't a difficult angle for him to put that in the net. So I'm swaying as to say, I know Jimenez goes down a lot, but I can't believe that he would go down to try and win a penalty when he's got a simple goal. It doesn't make any sense to me at all. But we got away with one, I think.
But on the flip side, Murphy with that breakaway on the last man.
Yeah. Well, I'm not sure he was last man, Alex, on that one.
He's last man, but it's the debate is it's subjective whether it's a goal scoring opportunity. He was the last man because when they show the replays,
there, Alex.
Yeah, there is cover there, but he is technically the last man in that line.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
You can argue it. If again, all of the big six would argue for that. So I'm going to start arguing for stuff. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. Why not? We haven't had the rub of the green a lot of the time, so
exactly.
to get it today was very, very nice. Gareth says, "How's Lily after a surgery?" She's battling back. She's been to hell and back, to be honest, the last couple of days. But bless her, she's took it in her stride, and I showed her all the well wishes in the hospital on Saturday, and she put a smile on her face. She was overwhelmed, actually, that so many people sent her some lovely messages. She's home recovering now. She has to go back on Thursday to replace the cast that she's in at the moment, and obviously some more X-rays to make sure that where they've wired the bones, it's still in place and it's going to heal in that place. So it was a very, very, very nasty break. She snapped 2 bones in her hand, her wrist. If you could imagine, our wrist was about 2 inches higher than what her hand was. It was dreadful. But you know what? She had it slightly manipulated on Friday night when she was awake, and that must have. I mean, she screamed, but it was so brave of her. And then obviously they put her to sleep on Saturday to operate on. But hopefully, hopefully, the wires stay where they're supposed to be. She's in a very, very, very solid cast now for a week, just to make sure that it starts to fuse, and then obviously she goes into a lighter cast on Thursday, hopefully, for 4 or 5 weeks. But you know what? She's a brave little soul. She's done really well. A lot of adults would have screamed at what she had to go through, but incredible what kids resolve is. It's fantastic. But she's the main thing is she's operated on and she's pulling through now. Can't believe I'm seeing some people calling for Eddie to get sacked while watching your commentary this afternoon. Look, there was trolls in there this afternoon, as there is for every single watch along. So don't pay any attention to the Muppets, honestly. Sean says, good evening, lads. Good win and excellent commentary earlier. Thank you very much. Evening, Paul, Billy and Alex. We were fecking mint, says Dr. Spoons. Michael says, hi, guys. Eddie needs to drop Pope for Forest on Friday. I think you were having a laugh, Sunshine. Michael, come on. You know, I made this point at half time. You know, Nick Pope, I mean, how many times do you see outfield players taking heavy touches throughout the game and nothing gets called on that? Because we don't turn around and say, oh, he needs replacing. He's made one mistake, guys, in a game, and he got away with it.
I think you need to put the comment back. I think you need to put the comment back up, because I think the Pope being dropped, the thing isn't quite the worst thing of it, because he's confused Alex for someone else.
Oh, he has. He's calling you chippers, Alex. Wow, Michael. Dear God.
Isn't Chippers bald?
Or
at least very... Okay, then.
I don't know.
Thank you.
But he's had a Castori either way around there as Michael. Steve says, hello, what a jolly good afternoon. Amazing what a difference one goal can make to my mood. Charlie says, up the Toon, much better performance this week. Miggy made a massive impact coming on. How are the Mags? JT says, evening, everyone. That game was quite nervy at times, but in the end, a good result. Let's kick on from here. I mean, Alex, the first half, Wolves did have a spell, obviously, before we got the opening goal. But once that goal had gone in, it seemed to settle everybody down, and we just went for him. We went for the throat. I mean, it was some of the football we played in that period before half-time was sensational stuff.
Yeah, it was brilliant. It was everything we've been doing over the last 6 weeks, plus a smattering of some new stuff. There were early crosses, first-time crosses. There were snapshots from 25 yards. There were nice little triangles going on. Yeah, it was a combination of our old stuff plus a bit more pragmatic football mixed in, and it worked superbly well because Wolves were planning for us to play exactly how we've been playing, and we changed it up a bit. They couldn't handle it. You know, was Maxi going to drive? Was Maxi going to dink it over for Isak? Were we just going to force it to the right and play a little Murphy to Trippier thing? Was Bruno gonna go on a run? Was Willock gonna drift out wide? There was too many variables there for Wolves to really figure out everything. So that predictability had gone because we'd got so much that we could do. Obviously, that frailty showed in us conceding with, you know, Longstaff and Willock both. I mean, that if anybody remembers why I constantly mock them when they were a double pivot, that goal that we conceded is precisely why they are no longer a double pivot. Yeah. They just stood there next to each other and just got clean cut into goal. Unlucky that Trippier slipped, but yeah, I mean, look, so much more variety, and it was great. It was a bit of chaos. It's what we needed.
Yeah, the goal that Wolves scored. I mean, you know, when you see it back, Trippier completely loses his footing, but I don't understand why
you can't drive through two centre midfielders like that.
No, but I don't understand why he just didn't let Pope collect the ball. I mean, nobody can tell me that Trippier knew the Pope wasn't there. I mean, listen, Kieran's had his interview. He's admitted it was his fault. He's got on with it. You know what I mean? Yeah. I think he had a very good game apart from that moment. He
just took control and wasn't expecting to slip. He just made an executive decision and it just went wrong.
And the thing is, I think, you know, moving back to the first half, I think seeing Maxi and Isak combine the way they did on numerous occasions, you know, Maxi's head was straight up looking for the run every single time. And it takes the pressure off Maxi a little bit because he doesn't have to take 4 or 5 players on. He looks up and he's got an understanding of where Isak is and playing him in so many times. And he played Willock in a couple of times as well. We just
imagine when we've got a left back.
I know, it's incredible.
Will be amazing.
Having said that, Alex, I'm going to take you to task on Mr. Byrne today.
Stephen Merchant on the wing.
No, look.
No.
I understand where you're coming from, right? And yes, we need a pacey left back overlapping. There's no doubt about that. But to be fair to Dan Byrne, he did overlap a couple of times today and create opportunities, and he defended very well.
Eventually.
Yeah, but he did.
It was that one phase where Maxim Willock had bombed it, and then they're playing one. They just played a 1-2, and then they just stopped, and you could see them both kind of going, "Is he is he here? Is he gonna overlap? And then eventually Burn came past, and they went inside. They went to like Bruno, I think, in the middle because it was just no pass. Like, it's
look,
but defensively, against Traore, and overall his defending was really solid. But can't we just buy a left back that can do both?
Well, hopefully in the future we will. But I thought Dan Burn was okay today.
I thought he was fine defensively and non-existent offensively. That moment where he drove into the box and just threw himself at people because he just got no idea where the ball was, just launched himself at people. I mean, technical for a big man is the right statement.
Julie J. Sims that Jimenez seemed to roll over the top of Pope. Plan was to get Pope sent off, knowing what happened before the Cup final. Spacebar says, can't leave Isak out after that performance. No. Absolutely not. There's no way in hell. No chance. The incident with Pope was right by me. I never even considered that it would be a penalty. Just looked like a collision between players, nothing more. Ooh, Tom, I don't know.
Well, the ref instantly waved it away, didn't he?
Yeah, but the referee was like 50 yards away, Alex. He was terribly positioned.
They always are.
Yeah. I mean, I think, Billy, you said something about the referee's fitness. Maybe, we got away with. But to be honest, VAR looked at it. VAR did look at it and said no penalty. So,
they said there was no clear and obvious error by the ref. So
yeah. So there you go.
Had he give a penalty? Had he give a penalty? They wouldn't have overturned it either.
No, I don't think they would.
I think the replay angles were quite poor as well. I think we were quite fortunate that the views were atrocious. It was all anytime they froze the still of contact, it was all blurry and horrible. So I think we were quite fortunate that it was a crap angle of the contact.
Yeah. Mark says, well done, Toon, today. Back on track after the Cherries result against Liverpool yesterday. What a result that was, by the way.
Well done, Bournemouth. And
then Manchester United, of course, failing again against Southampton at Old Trafford. I mean,
and
yes, go on, Alex.
Casemiro.
Yeah.
4 games, but they could be appealing it as well, so that could be 5 games.
I mean,
that's the same tackle he did in the cup final. No difference.
It is, and if they appeal that, then they're idiots. But they will appeal it because they think they can get away with anything. But I'll be very interested to see what does happen in the appeal, actually, because do they get away with it? Does it get rescinded? Does it not?
I mean, there's a few Man United fans saying that he touched the ball. Well,
of course, they will say that. But
it's still followed through, boot high, studs up, gone through, touched the player. It don't matter how much of the ball you've touched, mate.
Exactly.
You can't do that on a football pitch anymore.
Yeah. Andrew Bolam says Bruno's level when he's quiet is still way above most of our starting 11's best. He was off the boil today, but I don't think he was fully fit, Bruno, today. He didn't look. He got another knock on the ankle early doors again, and I think I mean, I'm just wondering if you're getting targeted now for the ankle. It seems, Billy, when you look at the tackle,
last half an hour.
Yeah, I thought last 10 minutes you saw the best of him. I thought he was superb the last 10 minutes.
His game management was really, really stellar with the foul drawing and just being really careful. That side of his game is really tidy. I think he missed Joe Linton today a little bit. I think he needed a bit of physicality and protection that he doesn't get from Willock and Longstaff.
Yeah, he does get that from Joe Linton. There's no doubt about it. Ab says, I thought Burn was good today, though I think to get to the next level, we will need a genuine left back. I don't think anybody disagrees with that at all. Lisa's Pope needs to work on his ball skills. We were lucky today with that Jimenez penalty shout.
It's the first time he's miscontrolled all season, though, isn't it? You can't,
Look, goalkeepers will make a couple of mistakes throughout the season. They can't just stay brilliant forever. There is going to be them times. And look, he made a couple of decent saves. But to say that he should be dropped for next week is mental.
Look at David De Gea for Man United. He's had 3 or 4 times in his career at Man United where he's been absolutely woeful and everybody thinks it's time to replace him. And then he'll go and win goalkeeper of the season. And just, the start of this season, he was shocking, absolutely shocking. And now he's been one of the best goalkeepers in the league. So...
Look, I don't think for any second that should happen. And let's be honest, let's just think about how good Nick Pope has been since he signed. I mean, just because he makes one mistake, yes, he made a mistake against Liverpool and got the red card, but he was punished for that in loads of ways because of missing the final, etc. It's not his. He's a truly great goalkeeper, and we should be very proud that we've got him. I'm not subscribing to this just because he's made one mistake, a control of the ball, which can happen to any outfield player during 90 minutes. Is baffling. Ian A, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. He says, Alex, you are doing to Burn what you accuse others of doing to Maxi. Give the guy some credit, says Ian.
I said his defensive display was brilliant. It was against Adama Traore. It was excellent. But going forward, he doesn't offer anything near what we need. The thing is, like, if we play a left back who's way more balanced, we are going to concede a few more goals because they won't be able to protect in the way that Burn does, like aerially and physically. So yeah, we're going to give up a few goals that way. But imagine how many more goals we will gain with that extra offensive player. We're trying to we're gearing ourselves towards being a dominant team, dominant in possession, pressing. You know, we want to be one of these teams that's constantly having 60% possession and peppering the goal, the way sort of Man City have played in recent years. So why would we not have an offensive fullback? You know, who out of the sort of recent title winners have a really defensive fullback that starts all the time? Doesn't exist.
No.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, the fullback role role's changed over the years.
Maybe, but I think the only reason Ake's there is because of the Cancelo fallout and all of that.
Yeah.
It's just not how it works at the top level.
Indeed. Let's not forget Longstaff almost getting the shirt ripped off in the box in the first game against Wolves. Karma.
True.
Well, there is that. George, thank you very much for your £15 super chat. That's really kind, buddy. Glad that Lily's getting over the up. I know exactly how she feels. It happened to me a few years ago. If possible, can this donation be given to Lily? Of course it can, George. Many super chats that have come in during the watch along have all been dedicated to Lily. So don't worry about that. I'll make sure she gets that. So thank you very much, George. Really appreciate that, buddy. Spacebar says Joe Willock was excellent in the first half. I thought he was excellent full game. Two players stood out for me today. One of them was obviously Willock. The other one was Fabian Schär. I thought he was immense today. Made two vital interceptions in the second half. One of which, when Wolves broke, if they'd got round Fabian Schär, they were in. They were in on goal. Simple as that. But he stuck
that foot out, didn't he?
He
had to get that absolutely perfect.
He did. Yeah. Daniel says, missed actually celebrating a goal, never mind a win. It was nice. It was nice, especially. I mean, look, it's weird because during the commentary, 2 or 3 minutes before that, of course, Maxi headed it back into the box, and Isak went up and sort of mistimed it weakly, header, a very weak header back to the goalkeeper. And we did make the comments in. I think Billy, you said that he needs to work on it in training, and I still think he does. I still think that those chances that he needs to sort of improve on. But the header from the free kick, Billy, was brilliant.
I think his actual physical play today was 100 times better than we've seen so far. I mean, he's won duels today. He's won aerial duels. The header for the goal was absolute bravo of a header. Brilliant delivery, just perfectly caught it, guided it into the corner with pace, used the pace of the ball. Yeah, it's a fantastic number 9's header. Seriously. I've not seen one better than that for a long time. Yeah,
and a good ball in, Alex. Although I still think Trippier's deliveries weren't brilliant today. The free kick one was placed excellently. But again, a lot of the crosses, especially on corners, too deep or not beating the first man.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I was complaining about him not beating the first man for ages. And then he played that one long corner, which nearly resulted in a goal, which was when Lamina handballed it. And then the following corner, I think, just went over everyone. So there was one good corner and then the free kick. But the rest of the deliveries were poor. Again, we're utilising him a lot for our crosses. He attempted 14 crosses today, got 3. And as for Isak as well, I do need to defend myself a little bit on that because I have been critical of his heading. And Jimmy, rightly or wrongly so, jumped on me on Twitter. I stand by what I said. Isak is not known for his heading. He's never been good at it at a club level or international level. He's statistically poor at it. And today is the first time I've seen him competent at heading. So I'm still not wrong. But does that mean he's improving, working on it in training, growing, being more physical? Well, hopefully so. Hopefully this isn't a one-off and we can see him start to improve his headers, because he won sort of 3 or 4 headers in open play as well, which kept the ball and were dangerous. So fingers crossed. He was winning a lot more ground duels as well, which was really, really good. So a few things we were picking out as being a problem, all completely not issues today. So hopefully that's the start of him being able to do that consistently.
Yeah, it does, and I think if he continues to play Isak and Maxi, then their understanding of each other is only going to get better. I think they've obviously been working on stuff in training. You can see that because Isak is making them runs down the channel. Now, I do have to say, Callum came on, and again, I mean, he came on with Miggy, and Miggy made such an impression. But did Callum? I don't think he did. I don't think Callum did anything.
He won a foul early doors and then sort of faded away. A ball nearly dropped him in the box once, but...
This is the thing, though, and we said this when Callum came on. He's seen Isak start the game. He's seen Isak score. And, you would think, right, he'd want to go out there for that last 20 minutes and with fire in his belly. Real fire in his belly to get a goal as well. I didn't see it. I didn't see that fire in Callum's belly. And I just don't know what's going on with him. I really don't. I would not be confident of Callum Wilson starting games at the minute. I just wouldn't. He's not anywhere near at the level that we know he can be. And I'm not, I'm not being nasty to him here. I have to say what I see on the pitch, and I didn't see him make any impression at all today, Billy.
Well, certainly not with the press or anything like that. I mean, Isak's press today was phenomenal again. Everything that you want from a centre forward, you got today from Isak. We want to see that week in, week out now, and it's a massive improvement what we've seen before physically. Callum came on at 1-up. I think he came on to defend as much as attack. Press from the back, and he didn't do that. From the front, sorry. He didn't do that. He did make a foul, get a foul against him. But he wasn't really involved after that, and didn't make the runners down the channel that Isak was doing, so we looked less of a threat. And it took a bit of magic from Willock to set Miggy up for that goal that just gets the win in the end.
Yeah. Antonio says, guys, can you imagine the signings if we do get into the Champions League? Oh, we imagine. We do a lot of imagining.
Not Osimhen and Isak up front together. That would be disgusting.
Yeah, absolutely. Mo says, same team for Friday then. I don't see why not. I don't see any changes for Friday. If I'm being openly honest, I think it would be silly to make any changes. I think the guys are on a high, and give them an opportunity, give them some run in the team. Murphy, within the first 5 minutes of the game today, put 2 wonderful crosses in, which we know fine well that Miggy couldn't have put in because he's not right-footed, and he would have come back on his left. So it gives us something different, Murphy, when he's playing on the right with his right foot. And I can't see him making any changes unless there's any injuries. I thought we were outstanding. I mean, the football was just brilliant before halftime. It was brilliant. Paul says pre-World Cup vibes today and an emotional goal for Miggy. Love it. Look, Miggy did brilliantly when he came on. He really did. He did fantastic, and that's what we want to see from Miggy. And interesting that Eddie said that. He was left out to have a rest, Alex. He didn't say that he left him out for poor form or anything. He said a rest, which indicates that maybe Miggy would probably be the only replacement that I can see on Friday. But that would be really harsh on Murphy.
It would be really harsh on Murphy. But you're right. He cited it was for rest. Miggy's been involved in every single Premier League game this season. And you could see that he wasn't at the same pressing levels when he's been starting in the last few weeks. Then regardless of how many people will shout at me and say they're paid enough money, they should be able to do it. It's not how the human body works, as we've seen today. Sometimes it works in cycles. And when he was tasked with doing it for 20 minutes, look what we got out of it. And it was a far more balanced fixture. They went to a back 4, a back 5. We had Murphy, Maxi, then Miggy coming on, and then swapping the centre forwards. So it was very, very mixed. The right way around, I think, this time. We starting with more explosive players and pressers, tired Wolves out significantly. So then people like Miggy made such a big difference late on. And for all the people saying, "Oh, his purple patch was it, we need to get rid," that's not how football works. Everybody has, and I stand by that with Callum Wilson as well as Miggy. Everybody goes through phases. There is no way that Callum Wilson suddenly just forgotten how to play football and has got no legs. Your legs just don't disappear overnight. I fully expect Callum Wilson to still be useful to us, as will everybody. We thought Murphy was dead and buried. We've all said on this channel, and loads of people have said Murphy's been dead and buried at least 6 times, and he keeps being useful. So, even Matt Ritchie got another appearance somehow.
It's incredible. We never thought would see him on the pitch again for Newcastle United. Yet here he is still going.
Well, it would have been Fraser if he had a better attitude. Fraser could have had 6, 7, 8 appearances this season, and he's not going to get any more.
Peter Bill, thank you very much for your £10 super chat. He says, "Hi guys, great win today. Can this go to Lily? Hope she feels better soon." Absolutely, Peter. Thank you so much for that. Make sure it does. Geordie Howie Man says, "If we can get past Forest with a win and no injuries, then J7 and Gordon back after the international break and go for it for the last 12 games." Indeed, and I think that would be great. Keep away from any injuries. I think they're going away, aren't they, for a warm weather trip, the rest of the squad? I think they're off to Dubai or something during the international break.
I think there is warm weather somewhere,
yeah.
That'll help them because we always do well when we come back from them.
We do. Isak and Maxi definitely have an understanding, linked up fantastically well. Kenneth says, "Murphy was the big surprise today. Best game in a Toon shirt to date. Deserves to start against Forest." Yes. Dan Burn was brilliant in a position he doesn't naturally play, says Ian.
I mean, he's played over 20 games at left back now. We can't keep saying that. He's either a left back or he's not.
Dressed Man says, "Get over it, Alex. How has made his decision to stick with Burn for now?"
No, he's not made a decision to stick with Burn. Target's clearly not fit enough to start matches. Like, he's just come back from an ankle injury. He made the bench on the cup final. He's played one reserve game. Obviously, Target's not going to start. A lot of people have tried to put Target in the starting lineups. It's not going to happen. I think he came on. Did he come on the other day for a little bit as a sub? I think he got a few minutes. That's just proved at where his fitness is. If he's being given a few minutes at a time, there's nobody else to play that position. So you can't tell me that if Target and Burn were both 100% fit today and ready, that he would 100% start Burn. No, of course he's going to start Burn because Target's not ready yet. So nobody knows that.
There's very different opinions coming in the chat regarding Dan Burn, and they always will. People will always have different opinions, to be honest.
I'll say what I always say. I think he's great defensively. Everybody's always concerned with him versus a speedster. And ever since the first game where we really tried him against anybody dangerous, was where Tariq Lamptey came on for Brighton. That was the first time we were a bit concerned, and he's dealt with every single speedster fairly well since then. So it's not him versus a speedster that I've got problems with. Defensively, he's always been fairly sound. It's what we're giving up front that's the issue. And being as we've not been scoring goals for 6 weeks, it's a valid point. Like, we've just not... today we've scored 2 because we've mixed it up. So...
Francisco says, "What I love the most about Murphy's game today, that he was crossing early and often. That's something we've lacked." Yeah, without a shadow of a doubt. One thing I'd like to ask you too, but I mean, I spoke to Billy about it earlier in the commentary, but with regards to Isak, Alex, do you think the only side of him that I'd like to see him do a bit more is release the ball, because he keeps it for too long? There was one incident today where he could have just slid Murphy in and he was in on goal. Willock, and Willock absolutely screamed at him after the event. Just trying to do a little bit too much around the penalty area. Or would you take that? Would you not want to do that, because you'd probably take his, he's keep that confidence level where it is, that he can beat these players?
Yeah, I mean, it's a fine... I mean, I would be hypocritical if I said anything bad about that, because I've defended Maxi for it. If my centre forward thinks he's going to do a better job, do it. if my centre forward wants to take on that final dribble or shoot, he's a centre forward. Like, yes, it's the same as if you're defending a corner. Dan Burn or Sven Botman are well within their rights to push somebody out of the way if they want to try and go for that header, because they are the person who's more likely to win that. I don't mind that my centre forward's got that mentality. I mean, it might cause a few situations where there was a better opportunity, like you've just said with Murphy, but there's going to be other opportunities where he scores because he's got that mentality. So, look at what he did against Liverpool earlier on in the season. There are possibly a couple of opportunities he could have released it to other people, and he went alone and scored. I don't mind. I don't mind my attackers having that mentality as long as they don't do it all the time. Like Maxi's finally learned this season how to pass way more. He's crossing and passes, and through balls are brilliant. So as long as there's a bit of balance and they don't do it all the time.
Indeed. By the way, guys, this is not Danielle. I'd just like to put that out there. This is not Danielle. This is some very sick in the head person trying to be Danielle. For some reason, people find it funny to impersonate other people, which is a very sad little life you've obviously got, whoever you are, trying to impersonate Danielle. But it's not her. So don't pay any attention to that Danielle there. It is not her. It is some pleb sitting in a cellar playing with himself. Jordy says fingers crossed that the fan that needed medical attention is fine, but the ref was a disgrace how he handled the situation. I didn't notice that, actually. I didn't.
Yeah, the Trippier was about to take a corner.
Is that what happened in the corner? Because we didn't know what was going on. Right.
And the ref said, "No, get on with it. You play to my whistle," and walked off. Ridiculous. Because they released it at the start of the season. At the start of the new season, they've said we will not be pausing or stopping any games for any fan emergencies. They said it at the start of the summer, and obviously they're sticking by that, and it's disgraceful.
That's just shocking. Space Bar says Cher was excellent today too. A real colossus at the back. Ashley 80s says not sure if the stadium needs a hotel, as so much of our support is already in Newcastle. Not so many of us from miles away. Yeah, we're not like sort of Manchester and that where we have to put our fans up because they don't live in that particular area. But there you go. Graham says after today's result, it's quite obvious we need a new manager. A manager, keeper, plus whole back four. We were rubbish.
Must be a Wolves fan.
Yeah, maybe. Absolutely. What about the ball boy trapping that one that came out there? It was sensational. Sweet, absolutely brilliant.
Chelsea signed him up, apparently.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised. Yeah. Is Target not good enough? Last season he was magic. Yes, I do think he's good enough, and I do think I really do think he deserves a run in the side. I do. That's not to take anything away from Dan Burn. I think it's a difficult situation that Eddie finds himself in at the minute because one thing Dan Burn has not done is let Eddie Howe down. He's been one of Eddie's main men this season, hasn't he? So it's very difficult to say that Eddie's ever going to sort of leave him out.
I think it's good to have both available, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
Burn is definitely going to be a better pick for certain opposition. His target's going to be useful against like low blocks, and when we just need more, like they're both useful. Use both of them.
Kasarabian says Wolverhampton Wanderers fan here, diabolical refereeing throughout the match, as you say, regularly a long way from the ball. Yeah, he was, and it happened on numerous occasions, not just for us, but for Wolves as well. He wasn't up with the play. He was very, very slow, and quite frankly, was a dreadful referee. But we've seen that so many times in the Premier League this season with dreadful referees, and nothing is going to change. They are just dreadful, and of course we can't get the biggest and best referee because he supports us, which is a real shame. Foxy says no one is perfect. Every player has weaknesses. Pope obviously isn't great on the ball, but despite the recent slip-ups, he's been unbelievable for us this season. Mrs. Toon Review is in the house. Frankie says, I saw Nicky Pope when he was on loan at York City earlier in his career. You could tell he was a class keeper. Absolutely. Really, really good goalkeeper. JT says Bruno wasn't his usual self, but was involved in the best move of the game, arguably from down the right, involving Miggy with a back heel past the bottom and nearly scored. The wait goes on for Big Sven. He should have. And it was, well, I mean, look, it was a brilliant back heel. It was a good ball in the box. And he should. What I want to know is what the hell was Sven Botman doing as our striker when we are hanging on to a game by 2-1 in the last few minutes? I still don't know what the hell he was doing there.
I mean, wasn't it recycled from the corner?
Yeah, he's obviously gone up for a corner that we were going to keep in the corner from a throw-in, wasn't it? A corner.
He just probably stayed there. He thought,
no, he decided to go for it. And he thought, yeah, sod it, I'll stay here. Got his shot in it, put it wide, but he should have scored, shouldn't he?
He should have done.
Absolutely. Darren says we got lucky. If the ref had reviewed the VAR, Pope taking out the Wolves player, he would have seen red, and we are back down to 10 men. They did review it. Yeah. Isak was fast and made it hard for Wolves. Jack says, I thought Trippier had a much better game today. Yeah, he did. He did have a better game.
He had a better game, but there was still a lot of issues. Like there were little things. He was getting skipped past a little bit on his side. Like 1 out of 8 ground duels as well. He's struggling. He's giving away yellow cards he's getting a yellow card every single match early now because he can't keep with the runner. It's getting dangerous.
Potentially his legs have gone, Alex, slightly, you think?
I mean, his legs had gone at the end of last year. We knew that. But we're just trying to play around it. It'll be all right. I mean, if what's his bloody name? Coleman. Coleman. Bloody Coleman. If Coleman's still playing week in, week out for Everton with his legs, then Trippier can still go another decade.
True.
Yeah, but we're in a very different situation to them lot down the road there. PD Proudlocks is glad to get back to winning ways and improves a point on why Isak should be starting games. George says, Susan, can you please make a video on how to make and edit good videos? Love your shorts, by the way. Yeah, she will be doing that very soon, actually, George. She will be starting to do that on her channel as well. Dave says, evening, lads. I'm in shock that we scored 2 in a league game. Is that the first time this year? Yes, I believe it is. In the league, it is, because the last time was Boxing Day, of course, at Chelsea, at Leicester. Seth says, a stat on Sky that really surprised me. We have 0 errors leading to a goal this whole season.
We don't know.
Well, we don't know. That's a certainty.
Thing counted as an error, so.
Yeah. Isak was immense all game, says Colin. Julie says, I noticed Maxi passing more today and driving the ball forward without the move coming to a dead end. Loved the runs Isak made too. By the way, I must compliment Sean Longstaff for that beautiful left-footed pass that he played to Miggy for the second goal.
That was nice.
He knew he couldn't ping it with his right, and he's not left-footed at all, but there was perfect pace on that ball. And it just goes to show that players can use their wrong foot for good things to come to fruition. And that certainly happened. Whenever Alex says ground jewels, I always think he's saying crown jewels.
Trippier's got more than one crown jewel, but he only made one ground jewel.
Yeah, that's your brain in the wrong place, I think. Joaquim says, I love Isak, but he is on like 60 to 70% of max, so he can do better. Look, he'll get going. So it's just going to take time. And that's something that he will get. And I'm sure he'll get running the side now. I really do.
It was clearly told today, give it all you've got for 60, 70 minutes to leave all the petrol's out the tank.
There is no way he's going to be able to do that for 90. I wouldn't get used to seeing that, like that performance, because he's not going to be able to do that for 95 minutes every week. Absolutely no chance.
Yeah.
That, as Billy said, he was told to do, give an hour, give 100%, and then we'll sub you off.
I'm pleased you said sub there, Alex. I was frightened where you were going with that. Geordie Howeman says, Paul, you mentioned Aramco the other day as possible sponsors. They announced £134 billion profit today. They did, however, if you notice that there is a new airline in play, guys. I don't know whether you guys have seen it. Riyadh Air has been created, is a new airline in Saudi Arabia. And I believe our dear chairman has something to do with that company. So we may well see Riyadh Air as a possible sponsor next season. But again, there's so many options. And these...
Nope. We lost your mic. Technical difficulties.
I could hear you tapping it. Speak again, because there you go, back on. Say something.
No, he's not on. Nope.
No sound. You got lights, but no sound.
Oh dear.
Honestly, what these
connections? We're back.
Yeah, no, they just kind of get the bloody equipment these days. I think it's because I got it upside down and all twisted, but never mind. What was I saying anyway? Before I was rudely cut off by my microphone.
Riyadh Airways.
Yeah, Riyadh Air. Yeah, so I think they've got very, very, very good options for sponsors for next season. So it's exciting to see who it's going to be. We'll all be guessing throughout the summer until they announce somebody, I guess. Keith says, let's hope and pray that the international break doesn't stop our good form now that we seem to have it back. I don't think it will. I think it'll do us good. We seem to like Alex said earlier on, we seem to like these, these like little warm weather breaks here and there, like we all do, really.
Mm-hmm. And we'll have Joe Linton back to go.
Yeah.
And
Gordon.
Coinciding and Gordon.
Francisco says Lily is rigging in the dollars today. Queen of Tyneside. Just kidding. She deserves all the good things coming her way. May she always have health, happiness, and blessings. Thank you very much, Francisco. Mo says, well done, Eddie Howe, for the change up. Indeed. Listen, he did it. We didn't think he would, but, well, I did. I did predict Isak would start. You guys were just, fence sitting again. But, yeah, it's fine. It's fine. Toon Gamer says, Richie over Anderson was puzzling.
Experience, I guess. It was one of those games where it hung in the balance, and if you brought on Anderson and Anderson made a mistake and cost us 3 points, then you don't want to ruin his confidence. Yeah,
a good point. Does Stato know how many errors leading to goals we've had this season? Feels like it's every week. Well, according to the stats, it's one. So there you go. It's not every week.
But you've got to remember an error leading to a goal. It depends on how you're visualizing that in your head. If somebody loses the ball in midfield and then it leads to a goal 10 seconds later, that's not an error leading to a goal. It's got to be directly in that phase where somebody gets robbed in the box, bang, goal. As it was with Trippier, slip, missed the ball, goal. It's got to be closer than that. It's not just like somebody like Maxi loses the ball on the right wing and then a goal happens 40 seconds later. It's not an error leading to a goal.
Yeah.
So no, we don't make many errors leading to goals.
Well, you've got another fight on your hands here, Alex. Rich says, Alex, bullshit. Manny and Chips can both play left back, but clearly Howe prefers Byrne there as he has been playing well there. Byrne does overlap, mate. Maybe if Maxi could cross a ball, we'd have more chances.
I don't know how you can criticise Maxi's performance today. I thought he was exceptional. Manquillo's right-footed and has not been playing any football at all. So, and Target had a poor run of form at the start of the season, dropped out the side fairly because he was in a poor run of form, and then has been injured. So there's been no competition for Byrne at all.
Yeah. Ashley, he says, I'm happy enough for Byrne to end up as a substitute player in the future. He can cover many spaces, which is perfect for the bench. I think Target is better for starting when he's back to 100%.
I still think it's a case of who we're playing. If we're playing Bournemouth in a low block, we've not beat Bournemouth this season apart from in the Cup. Target would have just given us an extra player in offensive phases. And Byrne overlapped twice today, whoever that previous comment was. Don't come at me with the Byrne does overlap.
Yeah.
Just because he does overlap eventually.
Yeah. Well, again, it's all about opinions. Keith Truscott, thank you for your £5 super chat. And he says to help Lily on her recovery. Thank you very much, Keith. Much appreciated. Right. Sophia says, what the actual foo? So I don't know what she means by that, but clearly something's been said in the chat. Billy Bob's just popped off for a couple of seconds. Right, let's have a look. Rachel says, yes, go further. Fake Danielle said she was coming back. Yes, fake Danielle did say that. It was Danielle originally the other night, but then she had to go off and do something else, and someone else decided it would be funny to create Danielle's profile again. And some of the stuff that she said on the show, like all that stuff of I'm going to sort you out and all of that when I'm back on the show, it wasn't Danielle. It was a load of crap. So, you know, sad that people like that do that, but you get them wherever you go, guys. And unfortunately, these people just have no lives and want to try and disrupt others for some reason. Tony says, I'm from the Northwest, so not all of us fans are from Newcastle. Yeah, we understand that, Tony. There will be thousands not from Newcastle. And the bigger the football club grows, then, you know, the more fans aren't going to be from Newcastle. I think that's quite clear and obvious already, to be fair. But you know, we'll see what happens in the future with that. Up the GT says, God, that person is pathetic trying to impersonate Danielle. Indeed. Frankie says, Yorkshire Mag here. I came to Yorkshire on missionary duty and they wouldn't let me be back over the border. Wow. Interesting. Norvik says, hi, Susan. Hope Lily makes a swift return to full health. Thank you very much. Botman heard that he's predicted by the Toon Review members and Alex he'll score a goal, so he tried. Yeah.
I wonder what his XG is. But he should have scored like 3 goals or something by now.
Yeah, absolutely. Trippier wasn't booked today, says Brian.
Was he not?
No, I don't think he was actually. There are 5 substitutes. Explosive footballers don't need to play 95 minutes. Yeah.
That's true.
Interesting.
Yeah, but with the way Wilson's playing, I would prefer if Isak could play 95 minutes.
Yeah. Peter Dolan, thank you very much for your 20 quid super chat. He says, great win for the lads today. Strange thing happened. I was playing poker with tarot cards and I got a full hand in and 4 people died.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Oh, God.
That's a right kick in the pentacles.
Yes. James says, I feel like Antoine Griezmann would be a great signing for us. Left-footed and tracking back on defence.
It's not a bad shout.
Yes. Yes.
So the commentator kindly pointed out today that when there was a free kick opportunity, that we literally only had one left-footed player on the entire pitch, which was Dan Burn. There's not a single left-footed player.
John Green says, our chairman is also chairman of Riyadh Air. Are we allowed to have sponsorship from an owner's company? Well, who knows? I don't know how it all bloody works these days, to be fair.
No.
Tony Paul says, does Stato play FIFA?
Yeah, on and off. I'm more of a career mode person than I am Ultimate Team.
Yeah, I think I'm the same.
I'm not. I'm Ultimate Team.
Yeah.
I don't have enough time to be good at Ultimate Team. You just got to... I can't afford to get all the fancy cards and grind. I haven't got enough time.
Yeah. Antonio says here 1.1k watching. Well, it was when I typed this. Hats off, Paul, Alex, and Bill. Great show, love it. Yeah, we're still over 1,100 watching tonight, which is incredible for a Sunday evening, a late show as well. You guys are just immense. Brandon says joining late, lads, but what a performance from the team. We had a scintillating first half. Let's kick on now. Well, Susan says it's quite, there is some nutters out there. There is indeed. Every site, blog, and channel has weirdos. Indeed. Some even so. Well, no, I'll not say that. I'll give me him. Samsonite says, I reckon a fair few TTR viewers are overseas fans. Yeah, we've got a lot. We're all over the world, which is fandabidoze. Right. We are moving on now to player ratings. Now, this will probably cause a stir. I have no doubt about it. It's going to be Very interesting. Ben Mowbray says, what's your thoughts on the time-wasting allegations that all the pundits and media seem to be jumping on? I couldn't give a toss, Ben, if I'm openly honest. It doesn't... I'm not bothered. Look, let them cry. Just let them cry all the time. It's hilarious. Right. We start with Nick Pope, and we'll start with Alex.
I will give him... that's a tough one. I'm going to give him a 7, and I think that's extremely generous. If I start him at a 5 base, I'm going to give him a set. Well, I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he made some excellent saves and kept us in the game. He got peppered to like crazy in the second half. He did really well, but then he can't get any higher than that because I don't think he could have saved the goal. It's not his fault, but the miscontrols and the confidence. He's got to be, there could have been a red card and a pen. So I can't give him any more than a 7. And I think even that's generous. I think some people might give him a 6.
Yeah, 6 and 7's coming in the chat. I'm going to give him a 7. I thought he made some very good saves. He could have lost confidence with that mistake, but he didn't. And he did come out and punch some clearances as well. So I thought he dominated his box when he needed to. So as far as I'm concerned, I'm pretty happy to give him a 7. I thought he recovered from that error quite well. Bill?
Yeah, I think 7's fair. Like you said, he's made some really good saves. And he got away with the wicket he made, let's be honest. So when you look at this game in 2-3 years' time on paper, you won't see that. So 7 for me.
Yeah. Do I think he needs to improve with his feet? Absolutely, I do. I still think there's work to do there with Nick Pope. And I think
2 out of 11 long balls as well.
Yeah, I think that's something that Eddie Howe will work on with him. He's not the finished article yet by any stretch. There's always improvements there. Right, if we move across to right back, Billy, we'll start with you with Kieran Trippier.
Up until when they scored, I thought it was his best game for a long time. However, that mistake for the goal was horrific. He saw Pope coming. He should never have been swinging at it. Shouldn't have had a chance to slip and give them a goal.
Yeah.
I wanted to give him a 7, but I'm going to give him a 6.
Okay. I'm going to give him a 7. I think he did enough for me to get a 7. I think the mistake for the goal, he held his hands up straight away. But I thought he did get on with the game as well. Similar to Nick Pope, he drove forward quite a few times after that to make up for that. Put some good good combinations on that, little triangles on the right hand side, etc. So I'm going for a 7. Alex.
I want to give him a 6, but he got an assist, so I've got to give him a 7.
Okay.
One good corner, obviously the assist. 3 fouls committed, should have had a yellow. You're right, whoever commented on that, he didn't have a yellow. I think he should have done. Just struggled a little bit physically today. And then the error. I think 7's generous, but yeah, I don't know. 7. I'll go with a 7. That's a tough one.
Yeah. By the way, guys, anybody new to the channel, please do hit that subscribe button. We've had a huge influx of subscribers today as we attempt to get to 18,000 and, of course, keep building after that. So keep sharing the channel and doing what you can, guys. We really do appreciate it. And, of course, the notification bell as well. And do hit the like button because the like button is so important. So just take a second out of your time watching just to click that thumbs up button would be great. Right, let's move to the other side. Dan Byrne. I'll start with Dan Byrne, and I'm going to give him a 7 as well. I think he was steady away. Again, nothing special. I can't say that he... I can't give him more than a 7, and I don't think he deserves less than a 7. I think he defended very well today, so I'm sticking with a 7. Alex?
Oh, well, I'm going to give him a 6, which is no surprise.
No, well, it's not a surprise, actually.
69% pass accuracy is far too low. He was a little bit erratic today with his passing. Put it out for a throw-in a couple of times. I know there's the old school, if you're not sure, just put it out for a throw. But there were a few times where he just bonked it out for absolutely no reason. He had time, he had passing options. Non-existent as an attacking threat, and that fiasco, whatever happened in the box, just running into people was annoying. But defensively, gets a point for blocking Adama Traore for most of the game, let a couple of crosses through, but overall defensively really solid. So he gets the point to go up to a 6, but then I don't think he did anything beyond that to merit any more in my book. So I'll give him a 6.
Bill?
I'll give him a 7. I thought defensively he was very good. The amount of last-ditch blocks he made, 2 or 3 today, crucial ones. Them long legs get him out of trouble so many times when he's out of position. You can stretch his legs and just block the ball. But as Alex says, not really an offensive threat to Wolves, but although he did overlap a couple of times and did get us a couple of corners. But yeah, 7 for me.
Okay. Right, into the middle now, and we'll start over with Sven Botman. Billy?
Yeah, I thought he had another fantastic game, to be honest. He just makes it look easy, doesn't he?
Yeah,
makes it look easy. His passing's ace. He just defends properly, and I'll give him an 8.
Alex?
Yeah, 100% an 8. Absolutely Rolls Royce. 3 or 4 times he was patient, waited for a press and just sliced open the Wolves midfield, just played it through like 4 players. Outrageous. Passing accuracy as well, in comparison, 94%, 34 out of 36 passes. Unlucky not to score. Absolute man mountain. Came across a bunch to cover wide for Burn as well and help him. I haven't seen him put really a foot wrong. I've seen him make a couple of issues in about 30 odd matches for us. He's just a tank. He's so good.
I'm giving him an 8 as well. Just class. He just oozes class. This guy's just going to be absolutely world class. There's no doubt about it. Ian A is taking you to task again. Maxi got not much better pass accuracy, and he is an attacker. But here, Alex dislikes Burn.
Yeah, of course an attacker is going to have lower passing accuracy. That's the whole point, because they try more dangerous things with the ball. You don't want to lose the ball close to your own goal. Attackers have license to do that. Your argument makes no sense there, I'm afraid. You've had an absolute Castore. Complete and utter mare. Fair
enough. We'll move on to Fabian Schär. I'm going to give him a 9. I thought he was excellent today, Fabian. Back to his best. He drove forward a couple of times and lost the ball. But look, just watching him,
he got to the box.
He did, and he got in a severe panic and didn't know what the hell to do when he was there. But it was brilliant, and that's what I love to see from Fabian Schär. We know he's got that in him, and it's something that you just do not get with Jamal Lascelles. And his defending was brilliant as well. 2 very good challenges second half, and I thought he was just an immense monster for us today. So I'm giving him a 9. Alex?
I mean, it was an 8 performance, but I'll give him a 9 based on the fact that he's had to come back from losing the cup final, making the mistakes in the cup final, concussed. So he's come back, and a couple of his pivotal moments were hugely important to the game, like that one tackle that he stopped. And then I was literally on the floor laughing with that. I don't think he does those runs every time, and he's never found himself as far as inside the box. And as soon as he got inside the box, he was like, what am I doing here? What do I do?
It was really funny. It was.
You can have a 9, yeah.
And the fact that some people are giving him an extra point because he didn't get any head injuries today, which was very different. But Andy makes a good point here. If there was an asteroid coming to hit Earth, Fabian Schär would try and get his head on it and try and divert it. Absolutely. Yeah. Brilliant. JB says Alex has been on raw meat for his Sunday lunch. Billy, what you giving Fabian?
900%. He's back to his best, and I've always been a sucker for a centre half that brings the ball out. He does it fantastically. He's got skills on the ball. He's a great passer of the ball, and he defended today really, really well. No mistakes at all. So yeah, it's a 9 out of 10 for me.
And can I just say how many times he was caught late after he'd released the ball? At least 3 times in the first half. Disgusting, really. But there you go.
I think the fans deserve an extra shout today, because there was one situation with Willock and about 3 with Schär where their man on shouts were so loud you literally affected the game, because the lads can hear that. They get an extra half a second of warning, and it means they can scan or pass or move. Fans are so important. I can't remember.
I unfortunately couldn't hear that, Alex, because obviously during commentary I've got to keep the sound off.
We have double commentary for me.
Yeah, but you see, I get done for.
I had to listen to Jamie Carragher and you at the same time. It was I had you on slightly louder.
Loads of structure.
I can hope so as well.
It's horrible.
Structure. Look at structure.
Kevin says John Terry just said Newcastle United play fantastic.
That's a bad
good.
omen. Everything John Terry touches turns to, well.
No, Alex, I think it's important that I come back with Ian's response because you've told him you said a Castoria, and I enjoy this very much. You know, taking. I mean, look, it's debate. It's good debate. Ian says, I love seeing Alex get riled when his love child gets challenged. Alex, you sure doing to Burn what you accuse people of doing to Maxi?
But I've literally just said we can use Burn and target. Burn will be effective against other opposition. Burn has strengths, but he has weaknesses. The same way that Maxi has weaknesses, and it was probably in the players that we've got available, Howe chose not to use Maxi against Man City because Maxi has weaknesses to his game. Like, I'm saying that about both people.
It's agree to disagree. That is fine. He
does
go on to say that he loves the chat. Now just leave it there, Alex. Leave it there. It's on it's on good terms there. Right, we'll move into the mid. Have we all? Yeah, we have. We'll move into the midfield now, and we'll start with Bruno. Alex.
I think he had a 6 first half performance and an 8 second half performance. So I'm going to give him a 7. A 7 overall. He drew 4 fouls. His final half an hour was integral in us getting the win. He was integral in the build up to the goal. He was so good defensively and drawing fouls and game management. Yeah, he had a bit of a squiffy first half. Still, 88% pass accuracy, 9 out of 15 ground duels, getting stuck in. He was missing his Joelinton physical presence today. He'd got that wonky pivot in front of him. Obviously, it's not a pivot in that formation, but I still can't get... When I see Willock and Longstaff stand next to each other, I am frightened. Yeah, Bruno gets a 7. He was fine. If that's the worst performance he's going to give us, then that's fine because that was all right.
Look, I'm going with a 6, right? And but for me, I just don't think he was.
Why less than a 7? What did he do less than what you would want from a 7?
I don't think he was in the game very much. I think he was. I just don't think he was at his normal level. And look, that doesn't mean to say that I'm crapping on Bruno or anything like that. He's still brilliant player for us. And this is just what I saw from the game. I was disappointed a little bit in his performance. But look, he's not going to be 9-10s every single day of the week, every game. You know, players will have a little bit of a dippy game. I'm not subscribing to some of the crappy comments that were coming in during the watch along saying, oh, it's because Mateo's a baby, you know, and it's keeping him awake. That's bullshit, man.
Yeah. Do you not think it was the style? Trying to go a lot more long ball.
Do you know what? In truth, Alex, maybe? I think it was the fact that Joelinton wasn't there. And we mentioned the point before. The physicality that Joelinton brings to protect Bruno, I think wasn't there. And that's why I think Bruno
you've got to remember those attacking phases, because we've been playing slower build-up recently. He's involved in all the build-up, whereas a bunch of those attacks were just 2-3 passes, Maxi, Isak, long ball. So he's not going to be involved in those build-ups, really.
No, but I just, for me, he just wasn't his usual self. And, you know, I mean, Ab says here that Paul always undermarks Bruno. I do not think so. I don't know where you've got that from, Abs. I really don't.
If you're giving Bruno a 6, though, I can't give Pope a 7. I'd have to retract my Pope 7 to a 6 because I don't think
that's in the past now, Alex. You can't go back into it. It's not Back to the Future on this channel. Anyway, Billy.
Yeah, I just think when he was quiet while he was on top, so it's the right time to be quiet, if you like, because he wasn't getting involved. He was deep in the play. We were getting the ball forward quickly to the wings and the forwards. But when we needed him most, when we went 1 apiece, then he came into his own. I thought he was outstanding last 25 minutes. I'll give him a 7. Okay. I'll give him a 7.
So he ends up getting a 7, you see, Alex. So it doesn't really matter.
I'm just curious. I was just curious as to why you thought that. I'm not. Everybody's allowed their opinion on that.
Look, it's what I saw during the game, and what I believe he was. You know, I mean, rating doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't do anything.
It's interesting because 9 times out of 10 we normally just go, yeah, Bruno, great, brilliant, cool, next.
But he
so
wasn't
it's
at
nice
that
we can
level
actually
today.
talk about Bruno.
But
today.
there could be reasons. You know, he could. I don't think he's 100% fit. You know, if I look back to the.
What do you mean? Do you think ankle, or do you just
I
think
think ankle,
energy?
Alex. I think he's very aware of his ankle. And he got another tackle on it today, and you could tell when that tackle happened.
Nasty,
you know, he did wince and shake his head as if to say, oh, you know, am I being targeted here on this ankle? And that's again plays into, you know, missing Joe Linton, because, you know, Joe Linton does a lot of the dirty work, if you like, and frees up Bruno to play his normal game. And I think that's what happened today. But hey,
but when it
mattered, over a
mattered,
point here.
When it mattered, he came into his own. And he was winning the game.
Yeah. Right, we'll move forward now to Sean Longstaff. Billy.
Yeah, I thought a lot of unseen work, actually. Again, he's covered every blade of grass. He's won tackles. He's played the ball nicely. But I can only give him a 7 because he wasn't really peripheral most of the time, wasn't he? He does the dirty work that you don't see, which is needed. So I'll give him a 7.
Well, I'm giving Longstaff a 6 again, because I think he was anonymous second half. And I said this during the commentary, Billy. I didn't see him get... He played that brilliant ball, don't get me wrong, for the goal. But I just don't think he was in the game as much as I'd like him to be second half. But, I mean, he's getting 6s and 7s in the chat again. So we're around the same place anyway. So, Alex?
I think I'll give him a 7, but I can see the arguments for a 6. I mean, 92% pass accuracy. Again, contributed helped with the goal setup. But there was a little bit more sideways passing, and you could see there was a technical drop off there. You know, there's the odd week, you know, like against Southampton, for example. There's the odd time where Longstaff does have the technical ability, but it's very occasionally. And I think I think he's going to be a very useful player for us for the next 3 seasons, because having somebody like him who can come in and make 20 appearances in different competitions, Carabao, FA Cup, European competitions, he's going to be really important. But I think right now, we're going to be looking to find somebody like him with a higher technical ceiling, because I think it just showcased what we need when he tried that little dink, and it was just awful and went straight to a Wolves player.
Yeah.
You know, that's where potentially a Maddison could slot in or somebody. I'm going to give him a 7 because I thought he was tidy and did all the. You know, if it was a day where we didn't get 2 goals, then maybe his lack of technical ability would have been a reason why we didn't get more goals. But I'll give him a 7. I'll be nice because he helped get the goal as well. So, and he didn't do anything wrong.
C. Morgan says NUFC dad's giving him a 6. I'm not sure what the hell that means. And then he goes on to give him a 9. There's no way Sean Longstaff was a 9 today. And, you know, that's just, well, pathetic.
You got to remember, he was as well, like Billy said, off the ball work. When we were rotating the press, if Isak was caught a bit deeper, Longstaff would go and lead the press. There was like 5 times where Longstaff pressed their keeper. Like, his work rate is impressive. It's really impressive.
Alex, David has just put a comment in saying, any truth in the rumours that Alex featured on X Factor 2016?
No.
Is he trying
I've been to the X Factor once. My cousin worked for Talk at the time, and they were sponsoring it. So I went to see the X Factor where Little Mix won. And I got to meet Shay Given, so that was quite cool because he was there as well.
Yes, C. Morgan. I do think it's a pathetic rating to give Sean Longstaff a 9 because you tried to say that he's up there with Sven Botman and Fabian Schär today. No, absolutely not. Anyway, let's move on to Joe Willock now. Billy.
Well, can give that a 9 here without any comeback whatsoever. He was outstanding today. And the good thing about it is he did it for 90 minutes. We don't usually see him play for 90 minutes. He usually comes off at 60, 70. He was superb today. Absolutely outstanding.
Absolutely. Alex?
Yeah. You can see why he definitely needs to stop being a midfielder because he's the more we see of him, the more he's an attacking midfielder / wide forward. Like the more he plays, the further up the pitch he needs to be. He started off as a central midfielder under Eddie Howe, and he needs to be nowhere near that position. But when he's doing his thing, he is so good. Once he gets that stride opened up, I mean, what did he get? Like 4 out of 6 dribbles, again, is immense. Yeah. Passing accuracy was really tidy, 88%. A couple of key passes, linked up really well with Maxi and Isak. And as Billy said, he did it for longer today. I think 9's generous, but the way I've just hyped it up, I mean, he doesn't deserve any less than an 8 or a 9, really. I'll go with a 9. I'll be nice.
Yeah, I'm going with the 9 as well. I thought it was just tremendous. Really driving us forward on many occasions, all over the pitch as well, not just down the left. He was all over the place today, and I thought he was excellent. Right, let's move on to the front three now, and we will start with Jacob Murphy. I'll start with Murphy, and I'm going to give Murphy an 8. I think Billy mentioned it in commentary. So many false dawns for Jacob Murphy, and when he's come on as sub and we've backed him up and bigged him up, and then he's got a start and hasn't done anything. But I think today he really justified his place. He was in the game from the very first minute. I think he slightly disappeared towards the end of the game, but I think he was taken off. But I thought he was excellent. So an 8 for me. Billy?
Yeah, 8 for me too. Attitude was fantastic. Right-footed on the right wing, it worked for us. I think it really did work for us, getting the crosses in. And he faded when he went over to the left side, actually. So slightly out of position. It didn't work from on that side, but on the right-hand side, it's absolutely the attitude of him. His confidence is clearly high after the cameos he's played the past couple of weeks. He's come in and actually did it for a full game, which is, well, the length he was on the pitch for. But yeah, an absolute 8 out of 10. Great performance from him.
Alex?
Yeah, I'll give him an 8 as well. And there was a piece when I had the double commentary on. I can't remember exactly what they said, but he said something like, Jacob Murphy doesn't rate himself as highly as he should, being a bit part player. And I think that was a brilliant comment. I think he's better than we think he is. I think he's better than he thinks he is. I think we've seen him score the odd free kick and he's got a good hit on him. I think
he's not frightened to take people on, Alex, or shoot, which is a very good trait to have.
Exactly. There is something in there. He reminds me. He's like the winger version of Sean Longstaff. It's a shame he's not 3 or 4 years younger, because there's definitely something there with Murphy. I don't think he's ever going to reach what he could have been, but there was always something there, and you can see it. And I thought he was excellent today with keeping. Just keeping the ball. There were a few situations where Trippier had kind of gone wandering a little bit too far, and there were 3 on Murphy. And I just thought, all right, well, we're going to lose the ball here, and we didn't. He was really careful with it, really smart, really energetic. He deserves his 8 because he definitely stepped up. So again, it's another player who's on a long contract. We're going to have a lot. If we qualify for a European competition, we're going to need players. We're going to need additional bodies who aren't terrible. And if Murphy can play like that, if he can give us 10 of those performances a season, he'll be useful for us in competitions. So, yeah, he deserves. I'll give him an 8. I think he was good. He was really good.
Okay, Billy,
I would give him an 8.
Okay, let's move on. We'll go to Maxi now. Alex, we'll start with you.
I will give him an 8 as well. I don't think he quite did as much as Willock. He lost the ball once in a bad area, which was annoying. Ran into traffic a couple of times, so a few negatives. Can't give him higher than an 8, but he gets the 8 for just mixing it up. There were 3 or 4 opportunities where he just ran at people, 3 or 4 where he dinked a ball over for Isak. Just nice and varied. He brought Isak into the game. He brought Willock into the game. More of that, and Maxi will be very useful to us. I think he gets an 8.
Billy?
Yeah, I was really, really impressed with his vision today. His passing vision was superb. So those balls into channel and having a target to aim for makes him better. Obviously, Callum Wilson isn't making those runs in the channels, so he's stuck with the ball and having to take on 4 players all the time. Having said that, he did take on 4 players a few times and got past them. So there were some bad parts of it, losing the ball in bad areas a couple of times, but it was definitely an 8 out of 10 performance for me. I thought it was outstanding.
Well, I'm going with a bloody 9, right? I loved what I saw from Maxi today. Yes, he gave the ball away a couple of times, but that is what we're going to get with Maxi because he's a flair player. He is going to lose the ball on a couple of occasions. But the drive and runs, he was making, and the brilliant play that he puts together with Isak is, I'm just going to love it. Just watching them grow and grow better together. And play the way they do. Like you said, running the channels, Isak. If you notice, Maxi, as soon as he had the ball, he was then looking. He was looking for the runs because he knew that Isak would be making them. So that's obviously done in training. And the fact that they were putting into practice what they practiced on was bloody brilliant. And I want to see Maxi like that every week. I don't mind if he loses the ball a couple of times because I know he will, because that's the type of player Maxi is. He's a flair player. Flair players will lose the ball at times. But the driving, he was clearly up for the game, revving the crowd up in the first half. That's what I want to see from Maxi, that connection, and that connection he's got with the other guys on the pitch. And we used him today.
But that's the whole point. Connection, that's the whole point. When we've talked about Maxi's needs other players to be amazing. He needs everybody else to be at a certain standard for him to look good. Because the ball to Isak was a threat, there was always, is Maxi going to drive? Is Maxi going to dink it to Isak? Because there were other options. They couldn't just, whereas in previous weeks, they know, it's Alan St. Maximin. He's just going to run at me. Let's triple up. Job done. Whereas they couldn't just do that because they weren't sure if it was going to go to Isak or, it's to do with having other players around him.
Yep. And finally, let's move on to Isak himself, and he gets a 9 from me as well. I thought he was outstanding. Some of the skills he's got in very sort of close areas, if he's on the byline or something like that, it looks like the ball's going to run out of play, but somehow he jinks past the defenders. If there's one thing that I want Isak to work on is when to pass, which I think will come in time. The more he plays, you'll see he'll get used to the players around him in a match situation. And that will happen. But from what I saw of him today, it was absolutely outstanding. He scored a headed goal, which was brilliant. Just an all-round game. His pressing was brilliant. Long may that continue. Long may it continue. Alex?
10. 100% 10.
Wow, okay.
That, for being a complete forward display, for having absolutely everything, physicality, tackling, heading, scored a goal, the running, the link-up play, pressing the goalkeeper, all of it. It was not missing anything. A complete striking performance, and exactly why we paid £60 million for him. That is a 20-goal a season performance. That is what that is the potential that kid has. And this is a 23-year-old who is not the finished article. That is insane. Anthony Gordon is the same age, or 22, year younger. We talk about Willock, we talk about Elliot Anderson, we talk about Gordon. Isak is pretty much, he's in the same age bracket as these lads. That is insane. Like, he's a 10. He's going to be incredible for us. He's a beast.
Billy?
I can't disagree with Alex. I'm going to give him a 10 as well. I thought it was the perfect centre-forwards performance. I've been critical of his physicality and his ability to hold the ball up. He did it all today. He did everything, press everything. Never let the centre halves or the goalkeeper settle for a minute. He was strong, and he won aerial duels. He won balls on the ground. He was a threat every time he got the ball. He beat players in the box. Scored a fantastic header. Yeah, 10 out of 10 performance. Best player on the pitch for me.
Okay, no problem. Right, substitutes. Obviously, we'll start with Miggy. Scored a goal. I'm going with a 9 for Miggy. I thought he was outstanding when he came on. So a 9 for me. Billy?
20 minutes play. Got us the winner. Looked threatening. Looked back to his old self again. I do think the Wolves defenders, having went to a 5 at the back, didn't know what they were doing. And he took advantage of that. I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Alex?
I'm happy to give him a 9. I think if we've given Willock a 9, I think I've got to give Mickey a 9. Although it is fair that it's only 20 minutes. I think it was noticeable. His pressing after the goal was a lot better than it was before. just supporting the fact that Miggy is definitely a confidence player. His
Oh,
pressing
God,
was
yeah. Yeah,
okay. And then when he scored that goal, his pressing was so aggressive. He was so switched on. It was insane. 100%. So hopefully that can feed into a Friday performance, because he looked ready to just fight anyone, run at anybody, run through anything. As soon as he scored that goal, you see his eyes. The man was fired up.
It was like a Maradona moment, really.
I want him to bottle that, take it into Friday, please, Miggy.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Let's hope it ain't the same reason why Maradona got locked in.
Well, I was just about to say that, Billy, to be honest. Just about to say it. Right, Callum Wilson, Alex.
I'll give him a 6. He came on and won a foul, ran a bit. Wolves had to be sharp to a couple of balls that bobbled in the box, so I'll give him the point for that. All right, I'm going to change. I'm going to give him a 5, and then I'm going to take away a point just because of how lackluster the pressing was. Like, to be on for 25 minutes, you should be pressing with a bit more urgency. You've got a limited time on the pitch. Just go and press. Isak pressed more. Isak was pressing more on the 55th minute than Wilson was doing completely fresh. There's no excuses for it, really. He still doesn't look fit. So I'll give him a 5.
Billy?
Yeah, 5. Just really a body on the pitch. Can't give him anything less. Can't give him anything more.
Well, I can give him anything less. I'm giving him a 4. I hated this game today when he came on. I thought, as I said earlier in the show, with him seeing Isak score, getting the ovation he did, and playing the way Isak did, I thought that would fire Callum Wilson up to come on that pitch for 20 minutes and run his arse off and try and get in there, try and create loads of problems, try and score a goal. I didn't see any of it. I really didn't see any of it.
Said pretty much what you've just said after the game.
Well, good evening, Jimmy. I wanted to see more. I just wanted to see him fired up, and I didn't see it. And I don't know what the hell's going on with him. I really don't. If you've seen the striker he's against, fighting for that striking position, go and play like the way he did today. I thought that would do Callum Wilson the world of good, sitting on his ass, watching Isak and thinking, right, when I get on that pitch, I'm going to do the same as him. I'm going to put myself in situations where I'm going to score, I'm going to press, I'm going to run my ass off for 20 minutes. And I didn't see it at all. So something's not right with Callum. Now, I don't know what it is, whether the club are ever going to come out and say what's going on. But I do believe something is going on with Callum Wilson. He's just not the player that he looked before the World Cup. He is not pressing. He's not shooting. His touch is off. I don't know what it is. I really don't. And it's a shame, because I'm a big Callum Wilson fan, and I love what he's done for this football club. And I just want to know what's wrong with him. What's causing this? Because clearly something is. Like you said earlier in the show, Alex, you don't leave, your legs don't go overnight. There's a period of time that happens. So I'm not sure that, people are saying, oh, his legs have gone or time's caught up with him. I'm not sure that's the case. Something is going on behind the scenes that we are not privy to as fans. I'm pretty much certain of that. If you just look so fatigued.
The last time, again, we said this to Henry Winter. The last time I saw him press like Callum Wilson typically does was that sub appearance for England in the World Cup. He came on, he was a menace, and I think he set up Grealish or someone. He passed to someone. He was an absolute menace. His pressing was phenomenal. Mm-hmm. I've not seen him press like that since that England match. I've not seen anywhere near that for us. I don't know where he's gone.
I don't think it helped him when he came on that we immediately conceded virtually. I don't think that helped him.
But that should spur him on even more, thinking, right,
it should do.
I'm going to go and get the winner here. I'm going to get the winner. I'm going to be the hero of today's game. I'm going to go and get that winner. And I did not see it. The other substitution was, of course, Matt Ritchie. I don't think he was on long enough, really, to rate him, bless him.
You sure he got one touch?
Well, look, we'll go down the line and give him a 6. He wasn't on long enough. What about Edward Howe, Billy?
Well, he made the changes that we all wanted, and his selections were proved right. I thought his substitutes were perfect, except for the Wilson one. We had no choice in that. I'm going to give him a 9 today. I thought he was much better managerial performance in game and before the game too. So 9 for me.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9 as well. I think it was he made the decisions I wanted him to do. Get Callum Wilson out of the side, start Isak, and really well done for starting Murphy. I thought that was a brilliant decision. So, absolutely. Alex?
I'll give him a 9 as well, but I think it is worth pointing out he might not have played this 11 if Gordon was fit, and we might not have won the game.
Yeah, but we're talking hypothetical. We can't do that, Alex, because we have to just do what we did and what
fair,
we saw today.
But we don't know he would have 100% picked this lineup, but he did.
Well, I don't think I think we all agreed that he wouldn't.
And I don't think he can take any blame for the goal. He's not going to stand there in training and say, right, Sean, Joe, just let people split through the middle of you and Kieran fall over. Like, that's not his fault. Like, the goal was just unfortunate. And it was the bloody guy who we said in the preview always scores against us.
Well, we said that we said it when he came on. We said it in the commentary. He's Billy's favourite, Hwang. And there you go. Within a minute of being on the pitch, he's got a goal. So, but look, it doesn't matter. We fabulous. I Like Coffee says, TTR stream, watch along mods, and chat gets 10 out of 10. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. So there you go. That is the match review done and dusted. Thank you very much for staying with us for this very late edition on a Sunday night, but we felt it best to get the review out tonight. With a few hours difference from when the game finished, just to sort of sum it up. And I think we summed it up brilliantly. Thank you to everybody again for the super chats and new members, new subscribers. You are all absolute legends. Thank you again for all the kind wishes towards Lily. You're just immense out there. It really did bring a smile to her face and ours, knowing that we had such a fantastic backing behind us, going through some pretty bad stuff with Lily this weekend with the injury. So, but she's seen all the well wishes and she's looking forward to spending all the money that she's made today. So I think that's made her smile even more tonight. But thank you very much to the mods. You've been absolutely unbelievable today, given how many people we've had on the stream. 1,400 this afternoon, well over 1,100 tonight as well. It's been incredible. So please do hit that like button on your way out, guys. Please don't forget, because it really does help the channel. Share it. Talk about it with your friends and family. Get them to subscribe and be part of this community. And, of course, the notification bell, which will let you know when we go live, and we schedule in some shows and recordings go on live. But thank you very much, guys. Thank you to Billy and Alex for tonight. 3 points for the Toon. We are back in the chase for top 4. Whether it happens or not, we don't know. Next up is Forest on Friday night. Really looking forward to that one. But we will see you very soon. Keep your eyes on the channel for the next show, guys, and recorded videos during the week, of course, with the daily news. Until then, good night.
How are the lads and lasses?